What's up? We back. NBA time. I'm excited for this because honestly, I'm kind of bored with football. I'm ready for some basketball. I'm ready to get me some good old NBA in here. We're gonna talk about
we can rip on the Pistons.
yeah, we're gonna talk about a little bit of NBA free agency, a little bit of the draft, and then we're just gonna make a couple predictions for some playoff teams. We're not gonna predict the divisions just yet. We're gonna predict a couple of the playoff teams that we think are gonna be the high flyers of the league. But let's talk about the draft. The top three went exactly as I predicted, exactly as most people predicted, filling in the holes that the teams needed. Obviously, it was pretty clear cut. The Timberwolves needed a shooting guard, the Warriors needed a big man, and the Charlotte Hornets needed literally anything. So, shooting guard Anthony Edwards went to the Timberwolves. James Wiseman, the center, went to the Warriors, and then LaMelo Ball went to the Hornets. But then right after that was when things started to get a little crazy. Patrick Williams, who his stock had been going up, but jumped all the way up to the number 4 pick by the Bulls. I honestly think they could have traded down to get Patrick Williams. I'm surprised they didn't trade down.
I don't know much about Patrick Williams, but to me, he kind of sounds like one of those workout warrior type people.
He is. He does sound like that. I think, like I said, I think his stock had gone up, but I think they could have dropped down a little bit to pick him up. What I would have liked to see is they would have even traded with the Pistons. Because honestly, the Pistons, I would have liked to see them draft Onyeka Okongwu. And then potentially get like a Cole Anthony as a point guard later on. I think that would have been a good one.
The Pistons, they needed a scorer. They needed someone who can score, and they needed someone in the backcourt.
Mm-hmm.
And they got that, just not in any way I wanted it.
I'm sure Killian Hayes will be good. I would have preferred like a Tyrese Halliburton. But
no, he's gonna be the next Sekou Demboya, next French surrender monkey.
I was about to say, not Sekou yet. Sekou, give Sekou at least another year or two until we call him a bust. No, I think you're thinking of Frank Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina was the other French. I think he was a French point guard that was drafted by the Knicks and just never amounted to anything. Let's give Sekou.
No, Killian Hayes is French, so is Sekou Demboya.
Well, yeah, no, but I'm saying Frank Ntilikina was another French point guard that was drafted high that didn't go so well. I'm just saying, let's give Sekou another year or two before we fully judge him. He didn't look that great this year, but he also didn't get that many minutes. He's also younger than I am, so that's weird to think about. That all of these rookies are our age or younger. But no, Sekou is younger than me, so we'll give him another year or two. But Killian Hayes, I don't know. Like I said, in a perfect world, I would have picked Okongwu to be a center. I would have kept Christian Wood and as a great young big, and even if I was if we were planning on letting Christian Wood go, why did we not take Obi Toppin? If we were planning on letting Christian Wood go.
That's what I would have done. At number 7, take Obi Toppin, get Cole Anthony later, and I don't really know much about Sadiq Bey.
He looks good. Sadiq Bey looks good. I would have been fine with either Halliburton.
Like a poor man Ben Simmons to me, so I like it.
Like, the only reason I was okay with not picking Obi Toppin was because I thought we were going to re-sign Christian Wood. We didn't do that. And honestly, if we knew we weren't going to re-sign Christian Wood, we should have taken Obi Toppin. He was the best talent available where we were, arguably, with Tyrese Halliburton as well, and Advija. But we should have taken Toppin at 7 if we knew we were going to let him go. But honestly, the Hawks are going to be a fun team next year. Onyeka, his name's hard to say, but Okongwu going to the Hawks. You got Trae Young. He's going to be backed up by Kendrick Nunn and Rajon Rondo, I believe, is going there too. Danilo Gallinari. They're still going to have Clint Capella. That's going to be a fun team. I know, like I said, the backcourt's going to be good. Honestly, if you get the backcourt, I know Chris Dunn isn't that much of a scorer, but Chris Dunn is basically, you mix Chris Dunn with Trae Young, that fixes the perimeter defense because Trae Young is an awful perimeter defender. But I think the Hawks are going to be a fun team next year. Other than that, I mean, Denny, good pickup for the Wizards. Jalen Smith for the Suns. Here's my take. It's a reach. It is very much a reach to grab.
Out like all the time.
What?
Your feed keeps cutting out. I'm like hearing bits and parts all the time.
Oh, weird. Jalen Smith. As far as my take on Jalen Smith, as a Suns fan, obviously, we'll talk about this in the free agency portion, but Chris Paul, I'm super excited with the move. But Jalen Smith is a win-now move. There was a void at the power forward position, and they drafted Jalen Smith to be the power forward. I still think I would have personally preferred to draft Tyrese Halliburton. Best talent available, gets to come into the league, learn under Chris Paul, and as soon as Chris Paul leaves, boom. Halliburton's ready to take over his position. I'm not mad with the Jalen Smith pick, though. Like I said, it's a win-now move. I'm not mad at it. I would have preferred Halliburton, but Jalen Smith I'm good with. Pelicans get a pretty good one in Kira Lewis. Obviously, a bunch of draft picks as well. And then after that, I don't really have too much that I really care about. I mean, obviously, Sadiq Bey is going to be someone that I'm looking forward to seeing, but Josh Green is a nice pickup too. Some more shooting for the Mavericks, who I think are going to be a Western Conference threat next year.
I'm excited for Isaiah Stewart with the Pistons. I mean, it's a center, but have you seen this guy?
He looks good.
Isaiah Stewart, to me, I love him because he is a hard worker. He never gives up. He's always trying his best in every single play. He's very, very physical, and he's also huge. Mm-hmm. He's not really tall, which makes me think he'll be a really, really devastating power forward. But if he's able to start moving a little more, gets a little bit more of a shooting capability, this guy's going to have a really, really long NBA career.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So let's move into free agency and some of the biggest free agent acquisitions for each team. Obviously, the Heat extending Bam Adebayo. That's a big one. For 5-year extension. I don't know the exact specifications of that deal. Oh, I didn't even realize this. It looks like I was talking about how good the Hawks are going to be, but Bojan Bogdanovic, because obviously he was going to go to the Bucks, but that trade fell through. The Sacramento Kings decided to decline matching the Atlanta Hawks sheet, so Bojan Bogdanovic is going to be joining a rapidly improving Hawks team. So now they're rolling out a starting lineup of Trae Young, Bojan Bogdanovic, Danilo Gallinari, Clint Capella, and John Collins. Well, I don't know how John Collins and Gallinari are going to play together, but that's a really good young team. That's an exciting team. With the getting Bojan. Other than that, Bam Adebayo, a 5-year extension. Brandon Ingram, a 5-year extension with the Pelicans. We all saw that coming. Oh no, great! The Phoenix Suns just signed Langston Galloway. Yay!
Well, how much was it for?
Probably not that much.
Well, if it wasn't $7 million a year, you'll be fine.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you hear the Rockets signed DeMarcus Cousins?
DeMarcus Cousins,
signed
I want to talk about that because I think in my opinion, I think that pretty much seals the deal on the whole James Harden and Russell Westbrook being traded bit. Because here they are trying to sign somebody who's really big, who's a really good player, and who has been a really good player, but has been derailed by injuries. Now they try to bring him into Houston to try and basically coax Westbrook and Harden into sticking around and playing for them, and maybe making a push for the NBA title, because it's pretty obvious the Rockets don't want to trade him.
No, they don't.
And
they want to hold on to him as long as they can.
And there's no way they're ever going to trade either one of them until they stop playing games, which I think it could get to that point. But now that they signed DeMarcus Cousins, I think they might be a little more coaxed into actually playing.
Yeah, big signing to keep the Suns back. Suns brought back Dario Saric. That's a big one. That was a big part of their team. Marc Gasol, 2-year deal for the Lakers. And unfortunately, the Lakers are trading JaVale McGee. That just shows that it's just a business. I mean, everybody loves, he's like JaVale McGee's a fan favorite, but they want to get Marc Gasol in there.
That's a really good
good signing.
Lakers. I love Marc Gasol. He's a really, really good player. Specifically, a great defensive player. And I think he's significantly better than JaVale McGee. So I think that's a huge upgrade for the Lakers, especially at the league minimum.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, obviously, as we all expected, Jason Tatum getting a 5-year extension from the Celtics. Pistons finally traded some of their big men. Traded Tony Bradley to get Zaire Smith. What are some other big ones that I have here? Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, 5-year, $195 million extension. If the Jazz did not extend him, I would have laughed, because that would have been the stupidest thing the Jazz have ever done. That's another big one. Montrezl Harrell, up and out of L.A. Serge Ibaka coming to replace him. That's a big one.
Well, I mean, technically, Harrell is still in L.A. He's just with the other.
Yeah. Up and out of the up and away from the Clippers.
And over with the Lakers.
Yeah, exactly. Nuggets keeping Paul Millsap. I can't believe the Nuggets let Jeremy Grant go. That's crazy to me. I mean, okay, look.
Well, I think when the Pistons gave him $20 million a year, I don't think they really cared.
Yeah, it's fair. I mean,
what are you thinking?
He's a good player, but I don't know if
year for Jeremy Grant.
I mean, he might be better in Detroit though.
I don't really like Jeremy Grant that much. I think he's an okay player. $20 million a year, I think, is absolutely absurd. My brother told my dad, "Hey, we signed Jeremy Grant for 3 years, $20 million a year." He's like, "Who?"
See, I love Jeremy Grant, but see, this is because I love the Nuggets. Jeremy Grant played for Syracuse, and Horace Grant is one of my favorite NBA players of all time. So he's the son of one of my favorite players. He plays for one of my favorite professional teams and played for one of my favorite college teams. And he's just a fun player to watch and a cool guy, so that's why I like him. I think $20 million a year is overpaid. But the Pistons ain't winning it. But the Pistons ain't winning for the next 3 years anyway, so I'll be glad to watch him in a Pistons jersey for 3 years. Even though we weren't going to win no matter what, so whatever. Not that big of a deal to me.
So it sucks up our cap room, and it really irritates me. We can use that $20 million somewhere else.
Yeah.
On Jeremy Grant.
Jay Crowder.
Or signing of Mason Plumlee to 3 years, $25 million a year. Why?
I don't know. I think it's because the Pistons are just ready to tank. And they're just getting some good, decent young guys that they can at least kind of justify paying a lot for just to eat up everything. Maybe, I don't know.
Also, these two deals I actually did like by the Pistons. While I hate Mason Plumlee and I hate Jeremy Grant, both of those two deals I think are absolutely ridiculously stupid and waste of money. We signed both Jahlil Okafor and Josh Jackson to come over to Detroit. I love both of those deals. Jahlil Okafor, I think, is a decent player. He obviously was a bust. He didn't turn out to be anything the 76ers wanted, but he's still an okay player. Mm-hmm. And he's actually been turning around recently for the Pelicans. He's actually looked a lot better now. So I'm thinking maybe if he comes over to Detroit, he can keep turning around his career and maybe turning out to be what he actually was supposed to be. And the same thing goes for Josh Jackson. That guy has got an absolute ton of potential, and, well, we need backcourt guys, and that is a backcourt player who is really, really big. I'm really excited to see those two in Piston uniforms.
Mm-hmm. Like I said,
I've always loved.
Yeah, like I said, I'm excited. I'm excited to see Jeremy Grant in a Pistons uniform. I think it was overpaid, but at the same time, we weren't winning. We're not winning for the next 3 years anyway. So might as well have someone fun and exciting to put butts in the seats, get some more money. This one's one that I was really excited about. Jay Crowder, 3 years, $30 million to the Suns. Definitely helping him out there. That was definitely a big deal to get Jay Crowder. Just some extra 3-point shooting off the bench. Or even starting for the power forward position. This one, Gordon Hayward going to the Hornets, cool. Who cares?
I'm gonna be honest. Paid a whole lot of attention ever since the Pistons just blew free agency. I'm just like, nope, I'm done.
I've been paying attention to it because I'm really excited for it. Raptors re-signed Van Vliet for 4 years, which made sense. DJ Augustine going to the Bucks. Chris Dunn obviously to the Hawks. Drew Holiday goes to Milwaukee, and Steven Adams goes to the Pelicans. So
yeah, trade that was kind of extended by the Bucks, where the Thunder and somebody else I think got involved in the trade.
Thunder and Pelicans.
Well, I think it was a 4-team deal. Someone else was in it.
Oh, it was 4 teams.
Bucks, Thunder, Pelicans, Mavericks.
Part of a 4-team trade that is expansion of the Bucks Pelicans deal, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and the 2nd round pick and a 20. Hang on, who are the 4 teams? Nuggets. Nuggets are the other one.
Oh, okay.
They just threw in a pick, but yeah, no. Derek Jones re-signing with the Heat. Obviously, Chris Paul with the Suns. That's a huge one, making the Suns playoff contention. Honestly, it's been a pretty busy offseason thus far. Obviously, it makes sense because of how quick the offseason is going to go. Other than that, I don't really think there's too many huge deals. I mean, Wesley Matthews to the Lakers, Montrezl Harrell to the Lakers, Christian Wood to the Rockets, keeping the Rockets core looking decent. Joe Harris stays with the Bucks. Honestly,
honestly, for the Rockets, I'm very excited because I think this team is going to be significantly better this season. You still have James Harden and Russell Westbrook, albeit not very happy. But you also brought in Christian Wood and not James Harden, DeMarcus Cousins, who fill a massive role in the with the backcourt issue at power forward and center. You had 0 rebounding last season. Well, now you do have some rebounding. You have some big men. So I think the Rockets are in a much better position now, and I think maybe they can, like I said before, they can probably coax Westbrook and Harden into sticking around.
Oh, also, Kelly Oubre to the Warriors. Kelly Oubre finds the Warriors. Great. And then Trevor Ariza found his way through 5 different teams. He's like, where am I landing?
I think the Pistons just keep him. He would have been a great piece.
Yeah, expensive piece, but a piece. All right, so let's talk about just who we think are going to be the top teams in the conference. Honestly, Eastern Conference is easily dominated by the Atlantic Division. Raptors, Celtics, Sixers, and Nets. Nets, obviously, with a healthy KD and Kyrie are going to be a really lethal threat. Honestly, if the 76ers stay healthy, now that they've added a shooter in Seth Curry, they've added a veteran center in Dwight Howard to back up.
Joel
Embiid, yes. I don't know why I thought of it. They just got some more shooting, and honestly, I think the 76ers, as long as they stay healthy, are going to be better than they were last season. Raptors are always up there. They're always good. Re-signing Van Vliet was good. OG Anunoby's really, really good. The only thing they'll have to do is figure out their center situation with only what's-his-face coming to the team. And then, obviously, the Celtics are the best team in that division with the Nets. Obviously, their young core is really, really good. The loss of Gordon Hayward is big, but Jason Tatum's just amazing. In the Central Division, Bucks are going to be near the top, as always, with Giannis. Any team that has Giannis is going to be in the playoffs. The Pacers will probably still be up there, and the Bulls might even make a playoff push, too.
Pistons will not.
Pistons will not, and Cavs will not. And then in the Southeast, obviously the Miami Heat. The Orlando Magic are always a team to watch out for. Honestly, I think the Hawks are going to make a playoff push.
Maybe the Hornets.
Maybe. No, they're still going to suck. The Wizards, maybe with John Wall. But I think the Hawks are going to be a surprise team. With, their lineup is really good. Obviously, Trae Young, Bogdanovich, Gallinari, Collins, and Capella. It's a really good lineup. We go to the Western Conference. The Northwest, probably kind of the weaker of the divisions. The Nuggets, probably the Nuggets, the Jazz, and the Blazers. I don't think the Thunder will be that great, so I think it'll be Nuggets on top, Jazz and Blazers kind of.
No matter what, the Thunder are always a team to watch out for.
No, yeah.
Even like they're supposed to be in a rebuild mode, and they were the 5 seed in the playoffs.
They also had Chris Paul, though. They don't really have anyone that great, though. So they pretty much traded all their really, really good players. They have Shea. I just don't think they'll be a playoff team in a heavy Western Conference. And then you got honestly probably the second best conference in the Pacific Conference, with the Lakers obviously on top looking to repeat as champions. Probably will. The Clippers looking good. The Suns looking a lot better now that they got Chris Paul in a trade. The Kings, decent. De'Aaron Fox, Buddy Hield, they look good. And then the Warriors are really good too. Obviously, they're not going to be as effective without Klay Thompson, but they're still going to be a good team.
For sure, yeah.
And the Southwest is going to be the most interesting. I see the Mavericks winning that division. Mavericks are just, honestly, they look really good. Nice thing is, like I said,
the whole West is a wild card.
I know.
Could win it.
I think the Mavericks will probably win it, and then honestly, any of those teams are still good. The Rockets have some superstars. The Grizzlies are a young up and coming team. The Pelicans are a young up and coming team. I think the Spurs are probably, weird to say, but I think the Spurs are probably the worst team in that division right now.
That is weird.
That's really weird to hear. But we're kind of going to update more as we get forward. Obviously, season's not starting for another month, but free agency's just kind of been going crazy. We'll kind of, honestly, I think the next couple weeks for our NBA, we'll take we can take some deep dives into the different conferences and kind of take deep dives into teams specifically and how they're going to react. But this was kind of an overview episode for what's been going on in the NBA and kind of what's going to be coming up. So it's a long night of recording. Thank you all so much for watching, and we will see you all next Tuesday with some more NCAA men's stuff, talking about what happened with that Gonzaga game. I don't know what happened, but we'll see.
Not yet, but
all right,
we'll see.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Peace out, y'all.
And also Friday, so enjoy the shopping. Happy Black Friday.
Yes, happy Black Friday. Peace.